Good morning, folks. YouTube tells me we're live. I was giving it a chance to catch up with its time travel shenanigans, but it looks like we're now streaming live from Macclesfield to you, the world. Welcome back to another episode, installment, session of Adventurous Ukuleles. I'm Tim, you are you, and we're going to play the ukulele together this morning, so make sure you've got a uke. And we are going to be looking at the bare necessities from the Jungle Book. So, without further ado, let's have a listen to the song we're going to do. I should say, before we start, that we have a guest appearance on the video. Not from one of my family this time. We have a collaboration from New Zealand, no less. It's my old friend Chris Horn. And it's also his birthday today. He is going to be joining us on this video that we're about to see playing the clarinet. Let's have a listen to the bare necessities. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, old Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. And when you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at those fancy ants, and maybe try a few, the bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities. That's why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. When you pick a paw or a prickly pear, and you prick a raw paw, next time to wear, don't pick the prickly pear with the paw. When you pick a pear, try to use the claw.
Who's in charge here?
But you don't need to use the claw when you pick a pear from the big paw. Have I given you a clue? The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. Take it away, Chris. Okay, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that video. Me and Chris had a lot of fun making that. I'm just checking. I've turned my mic on. You should be able to hear me. Please do let me know in the chat if I've forgotten to turn the mic on, or I've forgotten my hat, or I've forgotten anything else, or even if I'm doing a good job, you can say, "Yay, go Tim!" It's always nice to have some encouragement from the sidelines. Right, guys, that was the bare necessities. Thank you so much to Chris. Happy birthday. If you're watching in New Zealand, I hope you have a great day, or have had a great day, because you're 8 hours ahead of us. 9 hours? 12 hours ahead. Well, long way ahead. About as far as you can get on, still be on planet Earth. Such is the power of the internet that we can still collaborate, even over the maximum possible distance. Unless we go to the moon one day. Blah, 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 blah. Welcome back. Guys, I hope you've got a ukulele and, optionally, a hat. When else do you get to wear a hat these days? I've been told that this t-shirt makes me look like I work at Sainsbury's, but the hat definitely makes me look like I'm not working at Sainsbury's, so I reckon it balances out. What do you think? I've never been a fashion icon yet. Maybe you'll start one day. So that should have given you, that inane blather should have given you a chance to get your ukulele ready. Let's very briefly check we're in tune with each other. String nearest your head is a G. Sounds like that. The string next one down is a C. Sounds like that. Then the next one is an E. La. And then an A. Good cats eat acorns is the current favourite among my pupils. Our group at Macclesfield MMC Ukuleles often uses good cows eat asteroids. Anyway, we know the names of the strings. As long as your strings are making the same noises as mine, then we're in tune. If not, pause the video, get yourself a tuner. Search for guitar tuner online if you haven't got one. You can find one in a web browser these days. You can find one on any device you're using. Make sure your ukulele is in tune before you play. Right, we're in tune. We've got hats on, optionally. And any other instruments we want to play. Let's have a look at the bare necessities. So, video and PDF coming on screen. There we go. Right, is this a beginner piece or is this an adventurous piece? Difficult one to say. There's a few chords in this, but generally they're not too hard. And there's nothing really fancy technique-wise. It's just a light-hearted, swingy, happy song with quite a few chord transitions. It's quite jazzy. It's quite bluesy. It borrows the chord sequences in this borrow heavily from the world of jazz. It's written in a very kind of swing Dixieland style almost. In fact, Louis Armstrong did this right at the time it was produced, but they didn't get him singing it in the film. Did you know that Louis was actually meant to play King Louis, but the producers of the film thought that having a black jazz singer playing a monkey on screen might be a little bit risky back in when the Jungle Book was made. So that even then they had racial awareness, which is, I guess, encouraging, perhaps. Anyway, Louis has done a rather nice version of this song if you want to have a listen to non-Baloo singing this. And if you haven't seen the Jungle Book film, well, neither have I. Every time I watch it, I fall asleep. We tried to watch it 2 weeks ago, fell asleep again. However, I think most people know this song even without having seen the film. Really good song to play on the uke. So let's have a look. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different named chords, but a lot of them are just seventh versions of a chord we already know. So most of these are going to be familiar to you if you're an adventurous ukulele player. However, I think the F minor will be rusty for some of you, although we have used it fairly recently on the Space Oddity by David Bowie. But getting to that F minor quickly can be a bit of a challenge. So that's our first wrinkle in the chords. Let's go through them very, very quickly. If you already know all the chords, you of course can skip ahead to the bit where we play the music, unless you're watching this live, in which case thank you for watching it live, but you can't skip ahead. Tough, deal with it. So we've got a C major. Should be straightforward for most of you. Third finger, third fret, string nearest the floor. Then we're going to go to a C7. First finger on the first fret of the string nearest the floor. Again, not so bad. An F major should be familiar. Second fret, open, first fret open. Then an F7, slightly less common. We have used it before, but not very often. Keep the F shape down and drop in your ring finger or your little finger, whichever one feels most natural for you, onto the C string, 3rd fret. We lose that nice low C note and we replace it with an E flat. That's our F7. Then we've got more major chords, dominant 7th chords. We've got an A7, a nice 1-fingered chord. Oh, I just realised I'm nearly off the screen there. Shuffle over a bit. 1st finger, 1st fret on the C string. Nice easy chord. We've got a D7. And as always, there's a couple of ways, well, there's lots of ways of playing every chord, but the D7 chord, this week I'm going to use the cheaty version of D7. This is technically not a D7. 2nd fret, open, 2nd fret, open. Technically, this is an F sharp diminished. Because there isn't actually a D in this chord. However, those of you who know a little bit of theory will know that of the 7 chords in a key, chord 7 is a diminished chord, but it's very rarely used as a diminished chord. It's almost always used with the note a third below the root, and that makes it into a chord number 5, 7. And this is the top half then, or the top 3/4 of a 5/7 chord. So we're going to use this as a D7, and it's a lot quicker to get to. The alternative, and you will see me playing that in the video, is to bar all the way across the 2nd fret, and then put a finger down on the 3rd fret of the string nearest the floor, the A string. That's the true D7. That's an F sharp diminished, masquerading as a D7. So I'm going to use this one mostly in this piece because it just means a little bit quicker to change between. You'll see why when we get there. And then we need another dominant 7 chord, which is a G7. Should be familiar to a lot of you. Open G, 2nd fret on the C, 1st fret on the E, 2nd fret on the A. Those are the chords we need for the chorus, which actually starts our song. I keep saying the verse in my head, but we start with the chorus, and there's no minor chords in the chorus. It must be a happy song. Why am I playing a happy song? I like sad songs. Oh well. I do actually like playing happy songs. I just like the beauty of sad music, but this one's not particularly sad. So we've got the C, C7, F, F7, A7, D7, G7, bringing us back to C again. Those are the chords we need for the chorus. For the verse, there's a few more. G7 comes in again, C, G7, C, C7, F. Then we get our F minor. Now getting to that from the F might be a struggle. We'll get there in a minute. So make sure you know what the shape is for an F minor. 1st fret, open, 1st fret, 3rd fret. 1st finger, 2nd finger, and 4th finger I'm using for that. You could use your ring finger, but it's quite hard work. And then the other chords we're going to need is an A minor. Nice 1-fingered chord, 2nd fret, string nearest your head. And D minor. 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, and then open. We'll look at those chords as we come to them, but that is all of the chords we're going to need for this song. So, how do we play the bare necessities? Look for the bare necessities. There are lots of ways to play this song. On the video, I started with a very, very slow version. And a very low version as well. Look for the bare necessities. That works almost as well as the fast version, and I like to mix the two up as we did in the video. But obviously, use your own interpretation as you play this. We're going to learn the chorus fairly slowly anyway, so we're going to strum once per chord to start with. We've got a chord change every bar, every 4 beats, and those 4 beats are quite quick. I've put on the sheet 100 beats per minute, but if you look carefully, the beat that I've said is 100 is a minim, a half note, a 2-beat note. So that means if we count, it's kind of split common time, split 4/4 time. In counting in fours, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the main pulse is da 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 da. So counting in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is almost 200 beats per minute if we play the fast version. So it's quite quick fours. So let's just go through the first chord sequence. Ready on your C. I'm going to count it a bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. C first. Then we drop down to a C7. Moving to an F. Then to an F7. That's the first line. Back to a C. To an A7. D7. G7. Back to a C. C7 again. F. F7. Now for the quick bit, changing every 2 beats here. C, A7, D7, G7, C, F, C, and rest for 4 beats. So it suddenly comes quite quick at the end of the chorus, changing every 2 beats. If you're counting in the proper split 4/4 time, then that's every beat we're changing. Let's do that chord sequence again without a break between the quick bit. I'll keep the same tempo for now though. This is for you guys to practice. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3, 4, C7, F, F7, C, A7, D7, G7, C, C7, F, F7, quick bit C, A7, D7, G7, C, F, C. Okay, good. Let me just check the chat in case I've forgotten stuff. I'm left-handed today. Ooh. Ooh. I've forgotten to flip the video. That's interesting. That hasn't happened before. Badunk. How's that? That chat function is amazing. What would I do without you guys? This whole thing would be a complete disaster. So, a brief glimpse into the world of the left-handed ukulele there. Anything else I've missed on the chat? Right, thanks guys for pointing that out. Where would we be without the wonders of live stream and live interactions? Hope I haven't confused everyone. I am not left-handed, I'm right-handed. However, if you are left-handed, all those chord shapes are exactly the same, but a mirror image, just like I had on my screen a moment ago. Right, where did we get to? We were just doing the chorus. So those quick bits at the end of these sections are going to take a little bit of practice to get those chord changes quick. That's why I'm using that simple D7 version, so we can get that nice smooth change, not have to worry about getting a bar down. Of course you can if you want to. I did do it on the video. But the simplified D7 is absolutely fine for this reason. Just to have a go at that very last quick sequence again. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A7, D7, G7, C, F, C. Okay, with the words, we can keep it nice and simple. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. I'm just going to be strumming once per chord. Normally that's once per bar, but with the quick bit you're going to need to strum twice per bar. And that will get you through the first chorus. Then, when we come back to that chorus, we probably want to strum things a little bit more quickly. So if we're starting off like this, when we come back to it, and we want to pick up the tempo a bit, we probably need something like, look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. It's not massively faster, but we are strumming a lot more often. And this is where the main technical part of this song comes in. We need to be playing swing. We've got to swing the eighth notes, or swing the quavers. When I say swing, what do I mean? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because normally when we divide the bar up into beats, we divide evenly. So we've got a bar that's yay long, and we divide it into two in this case. That's our split common time. What bare necessities. But if we divide it again into four, then we get our full 4 beats. Look for the bare necessities. So we're just dividing in half each time. But when we divide into quavers, we could divide those 4 beats into 8 little ones, and we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But it doesn't quite fit with the song. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. It's turned into a kind of march, kind of a... It's not quite right. There's no groove, there's no swing, there's no relaxed, chillax kind of laid-back approach. Instead of dividing each beat exactly in half, we need to push or swing those subdivisions. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'll slow it down now, I'm going to make the first part of the beat longer than the second part of the beat. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now those 2 bars were exactly the same tempo. First one, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Second one, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But I don't know about you, but I feel like the second one is slower. It feels way more relaxed, way more chilled. And the swing does that. It takes a fast tempo and really slows it down. If you take a fast blues riff, let me get this right. Like Johnny Be Good, that's a straight rhythm. Ticka, 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But if I swing that rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4. The whole feeling of the song changes, and the bare necessities has this swing feel and really gives it that laid back feel. So how do we play a swing? If you can hear it, you can play it, but there is a technical way of deriving that swing. Instead of dividing each beat into 2, 1 and 2 and, I'm going to divide each beat into 3 triplets, we call these. So each beat has now got 3 subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, da, 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 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet. Now how does that help us? It doesn't give us that laid back swing feel. Well, it does if I miss out the second pair, a second of each group of 3, or rather I join it in with the first one. So then I'm playing the first 2/3 of the beat and then playing the last third of the beat. Da, 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 da. There's our swing. So technically what we're doing is subdividing each beat into 3 and playing the first 2 joined together. So 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's where our swing is from, if we have to work it out mathematically. I guarantee that anyone who is comfortable playing the swing is not thinking it mathematically, though. So that will help you understand exactly where it comes from, but in practice, playing the swing is not mathematical. You can have a hard swing where you actually push that last beat even further back, or you can have a really soft swing where it's not quite the last third, it's more like the last 7th, last 2/7 or something. My fractions are all over the place there, but it doesn't have to be precisely that triplet division. But the idea is that it's no longer in the middle of the beat. Practically, the best way to play this is to group the upstrokes with the next downstroke. So let's work out where the upstrokes go normally. Playing on the downstroke on the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we subdivide into even quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm using upstrokes for the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. what I need to do is push each upstroke so it belongs to the next downstroke. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. The easiest way to start this is to start with an upstroke and then immediately do a downstroke. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Up, down, 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 up, down. And if you connect those two things together, you'll get a swing feel. It may be a hard swing, it may be a soft swing, but it will definitely be swung. It won't be evenly split. And that's the best way to start playing a swing. So let's see if we can fit that into the bare necessities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. The bare necessities of the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. Okay, a little bit slow, but we should have a nice swing going on now. So let's see if we can speed up a bit. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. Okay, good. Now we're getting a swing, hopefully. Remember, you can slow this video down if you still need to go slower, or rewind it. But you'll notice that I'm playing all of the strokes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it doesn't sound quite right. And when I started, I was missing some out by instinct. So actually, we don't need to play all the strokes. What I would like you to play is something like 3, 4, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Or alternatively, it's very close to our classic ukulele strum, which is down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Those two options are written above the music, above the numbers on the chorus, and I've put them one after the other. Loosely, you could use this as a model. The first bar, play a down, down, up, and then the second bar, down, down, up, down, up. Now I've gone into this quite quickly because I think a lot of you will be familiar with this classic ukulele strum, which is that second bar pattern. But it's got to be swung this time. And particularly on that second bar, that up that comes after the second beat is all on its own. It doesn't feel like it belongs to the second beat. It belongs to the third beat, but there's no down on the third beat, so that up feels very isolated. Let's hear that bar, second bar of the rhythm. Down, so we're on a C7 actually. 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. That up is quite isolated. It'll feel quite weird, but if it sounds like it's on its own, you're doing it right. So let's play through the chorus with the swing all the way through at more or less full tempo. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, down. I can't count and sing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, of Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. So when we get to the quick chords, I'm not worried too much about the pattern. I really want a down on each of those chords. So I'm not too worried about following the strum pattern exactly. You could just do down, 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 down. But if your hand is moving in our nice swing groove, then you can put a few ups in there as well, as long as you get the downs on the new chords. 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, down. Whatever pattern you like, as long as your hand is moving in the swing pattern, it will sound good. Right, we've dealt with the swing, Elephant in the Room, and we've dealt with the chorus. Let's have a look at the verse. How are we doing on the chat? You can't see my hat. Hopefully, I'm hoping you can see my hat, Julia. Maybe you need a bigger screen. I can definitely see my hat on mine. Be worrying if you couldn't see my hat. Right, let's have a look at the verse. When we get to the verse, we need to change gear slightly. If we've been playing a slow chorus, bring the bare necessities of life. I want to move to a fingerpicking style. So hold down a G7. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam. So all I'm doing here is holding down the chords with my left hand. I don't think the chords are going to be hard. We've got a G7 and then a C. But now with my right hand, I'm using my thumb for the G string, and then first, second and third fingers belong to the C, the E and the A strings. So they want to kind of live right next to those strings, just kind of underneath them, ready to pluck upwards like that. They can actually be touching those strings. And the thumb is kind of living almost on the G string, ready to pluck down, very slightly down. And all I'm doing is alternating between my thumb and then all three fingers. So thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers. I'm doing this on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same for the C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Back to the G7. Back to the C and the C7. That gives us a nice little kind of nod to an alternating bass line. We're not really alternating the bass because we haven't got enough strings. You heard me put an extra note in the G7 there. Feel free to do that, getting your thumb around there or adding a second finger on. It gives you a nice little G7, G9 I think. Yeah, G9. Then when we get to the F minor section, we can keep that going, but I suspect the chord change there is going to cause a few furrowed brows. So what I suggest is that we just play one strum per chord, or even, if you're feeling confident, 2 strums per chord. So we've just done my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. So that F and the F minor, let's have a talk about how to make that easier. We've got time to change, but the change is still quite awkward. We've got to move every finger around. However, if you play an F with including your little finger here, it sounds fine. We're just swapping one note of the F chord for another. But that means that little finger can now anchor and stay where it is. Well, these 2 fingers come away, spin around, go back down onto the F minor. We've got to swap those fingers around. There's no other way of doing it really. But that little finger can anchor my hand and stop me from moving too far away so I don't lose my position. I can stay exactly where it is. So have a go at practicing F with the little finger, 2, F minor, F minor, F minor, F minor. Make sure your thumb is in the middle of the neck and not all the way around here, because otherwise it's quite tough to get that change going. That's the trickiest change of the piece. And if you can do that, there's nothing tricky left for you, ever, in the world. Well, a few things. Parenthood. Where was I? So then you've also got to practice getting to that slightly new F from the C7. So let's go back to the second line of the verse. I couldn't be fonder of my big home. Here comes the C7. Think about the new F. The bees are buzzing in the F minor tree to make some, back to a C, honey just for me. D7. I'm using the full D7 there. Equally well used in now, low one. That line is going to cause a few furrow brows, but I think you can crack it. Then we've got the fun part. We need to strum these chords next once and then stop the sound. If you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants. So A minor first. You look under then an A7. Rocks and plants. You can strum and let it ring, or you can strum and stop, depending how you're feeling it. And then a D minor. Take a glance glance at the... Switch to a very quick D7. Fancy G7. And that D7 catches a few people out because we've been playing one chord per bar up till now in this section. And suddenly we've got a double that we weren't expecting. So let's do that line together. 1, 2, 3. When you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, then we're on to one chord per bar again. Maybe try a few. Hold the A7 and stop the burner. Back to a D minor. Necessities, G7 of life will come to... Now we've got a new fast chord sequence. C, A minor, D minor, G7, C, F, C. So this is our fast chord sequence that ends the verse rather than the chorus. In the chorus we used all dominant 7th chords, but this time we're swapping out the A7 and the D7 for an A minor and a D minor. This gives us our classic 2-5-1 ending. So the D minor G7 C is a 2-5-1 progression, all over the place in jazz, all over the place. So it's a kind of iconic ending. Your ears already know from the familiarity of the sound that we're coming to the end of a section. It's much more conclusive than the end of the chorus. The chorus wants to go somewhere next, whereas this verse really does seem to finish the song, which is odd for a verse. Verses normally want to go into the chorus. But so let's do the whole verse nice and steady. Just checking. Yeah, people can see my hat. Good. Better now, says Julia. I'm glad. Good morning to Joe from Cambridge. Good morning to the Hollingsworths. All the gang. Oh, it was Chris that spotted the left-handed nature. Thanks, Chris. What would I do without you? Right, all the way through the verse, nice and steady. We're using a finger-picking style for the first 2 lines, then a strum per bar for the third, some breaks on the fourth, and then back to a swing strum on the last section of the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. And when you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, then maybe try a few. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. So a couple of tips for playing those sections. I often use my first finger for the A minor chords because more often than not I've just come from a D7 chord in one case, and so my first finger is already in the right place to play that A minor. And then when I'm going from a D minor to a G7, my first finger is also already in the right place, so don't move it. If you spot a finger that's already in the right place for the next chord, use that as the anchor or the pivot and swing all the other fingers around it to land on the new chord. So we've got the second A minor at the end is probably better played with the second finger, because then that gives us a pivot for the D minor, which then gives us a pivot for the G7, and then back to the C. Right, those are all the chords for this song. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. Just checking the chat. Guys, let me know anything that you'd like more explanation on, or to go practice. But we're coming up soon to the time where we try and bring in some other musicians and have a go at the whole song. The instrumental section is quite long, at least it was in our video. I have to give Chris a good go. We did a whole chorus and a verse as the instrumental. If that's too long as an instrumental and you've got no one that plays the clarinet quite so well as Chris, then use a different instrument. Or if you've got no one who plays anything else, then you can always just repeat the chorus and repeat the first verse if you want to. There is another verse about chilling out and relaxing in my backyard. I couldn't make it work with the lyrics. That's the one that Louis sings, Louis Armstrong, if you want to hear that one. And I think Baloo sings it at the end of the whole sequence on the Jungle Book. I just included the Prickly Pear one because I thought that was a bit of fun. And we got some stupid jokes about Black Claw. You guys must think I'm a bit nuts. I hope you enjoy it. Right. The fingerpicking stuff is pretty simple. I don't think you need too much more explanation on that. You could carry that on through the F and the F minor section if you want to, but I think it's probably easier just to strum that section. Right, I think we're ready to have a go at this. If you do it in a big instrumental, then finish it off with a sung ending. When you get to the end of the verse and you've done these breaks, then sing here. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. At the end, I'm doing another chord. I'm just putting a very quick G and landing on a C again to finish. Right. I feel like I've waffled a lot this morning. I do apologise. I didn't forget the mic. Just checking, panicking. We're okay. But I did reverse my image. New camera. Technical problems again this morning, but you don't need to know that. So, enough of the waffle. Guys, thank you for sticking around. I'm going to go and find some company. While you're getting ready, do have a look in the video description. There's a link to the chords if you haven't found that yet. If they're a bit small on the screen, you can print them off, download them. Or maybe the other way around, download them and then print them off. There's also a link to a survey where we're trying to collect some votes for what song you'd like to do together as a collaboration. We've got some front runners at the moment, but I won't reveal anything yet. If any of you are watching who haven't yet taken that survey, do take that survey. Let me know which videos you liked, which videos you didn't, and which song you'd like to be in a video for. I have had a couple of other videos from you guys playing these songs. I just need to get permission to show them. Thanks. Do send them in. If you've been playing these songs on any instrument, send the videos in. Let me know if you'd like me to use them, and we'll share them on the live stream. And at the bottom of the video description is a link to how you can support me to make these videos. No one's paying me to do these except you guys. I enjoy doing them. If you enjoy watching them, if you're still watching by now, then I hope you're enjoying it. Otherwise, your parents are making you watch. I'm so sorry for you. If you'd like them to carry on, then consider supporting me. If your parents are making you watch, then maybe that's not an option. But if you're watching and you'd like me to carry on doing childcare for your children, then consider supporting me. There's a Patreon link where you can do a monthly subscription. I'll pause that when I go on holiday. Don't worry, I won't take money when I'm not making videos. Or you can just do a PayPal donation, or even find my email on my website and send me a check if you must. Although it's hard to get to the bank these days when we're all in grey lockdown. Enough sponsor advertising chat. Do like the video and subscribe if you like these. It really helps the channel to grow. People see that, oh yeah, people like these videos, I'll watch some more. And that means I can keep making the videos. I'm going to go and find my wife and child and see if we can get a band together. You guys get ready. Find a hat if you haven't got one already. I'll be right back. Right, I've given them the heads up. Let's get a box. And that can be for William. So, we're just about okay. William's still in pyjamas, folks. Brace yourselves. You going on the cajon? Leave it there. I want you to be in the video. Climb on. Right. Var du färdig med lördag? Eller hur? Right. Folks, I've done my talk, so I don't need to do that now. We're going to play the bare necessities. William hasn't practiced this one with me. He's had a quick run through with Mummy. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You're going to be okay playing it? We want you guys to do what William's doing, which is when we get to the end of the verse, which goes, maybe try a few, the bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to me. They'll come to you. Should we try that again?
Come to me.
All right, try that again. We go from the bare necessities of life will come to you.
Come to me.
They'll come to you.
Come to me.
Okay, so that's your job as well. William's also going to be playing the cajon because he's multi-talented. Okay, you okay, Fia?
Yes, I'm just going to William slightly. Choose it.
See, I was ready early, but these guys just, can't get the stuff.
There you go. Okay.
All right, here we go then, guys. From the top of the bare necessities, we're going to start slow. So maybe no cajon to start with. And then when we start picking up the beat, then you can join in.
Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, old Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. But when you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, then maybe try a few. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. Back to the chorus. Look for the bare necessities, simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your stuff. I mean the bare necessities, old Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Now when you pick a paw or a prickly pear, and you prick a raw paw, next time beware. Don't pick the prickly pear by the paw when you pick up pear. Try to use the claw, but you don't need to use the claw when you pick a pear up a big paw. Have I given you a clue? The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. Instrumental. And the verse. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. I had no intention of doing a scat singing solo there. It just kind of happened. Right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. That was the Bare Necessities. We will do another live stream next week. But then we will be taking a break for half term. More about that next time. I don't know what song we're doing next week, so watch this space and send me some suggestions. Good work, William. Good work. Good work, guys. See you next time.